Hello, and welcome to Leading Ladies Live this evening. I am leading lady host Renee Page. Tonight, I have leading co-host with me, Andrea L. Reed from Proofreading Inc. And then also tonight, we have Nikki J. Collier. She's a marketing consultant for Sinclair Broadcast Group and an up-and-coming author. Welcome, Nikki. So, Nikki, I understand you grew up in Fort Meade, Maryland, and your dad was in the Army. Is that correct? Can you hear me?
Can you hear us, Nikki? Can you hear us?
She did say it was raining where she was. So she might have frozen. She's frozen.
Okay.
So she'll come back in.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can tell a little bit of her story until she comes on. Since it's in the book. She is from Fort Meade, Maryland. She was her dad was in the military, so she did travel around a lot. And then they settled in Prince George's County, Maryland. So she was, I guess you could say she was an Army brat as well. Seems like she's trying to get back in, so hopefully.
I'm sorry. My screen froze up on me. I'm sorry. So I had to go in and go out and come back in.
Okay. I tried to answer the question.
Can you hear me?
Came back. So I told her that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your dad was in the military, so you traveled around a bit and settled in Prince George's County, Maryland. So I'll leave the rest up to you, what you want to add to that.
Yep. Nope, that's pretty much it. I mean, I was born in Fort Meade, traveled a lot while I was young, went to nursery school in Germany, kindergarten in North Carolina, where my mom is from, and kind of eventually settled. I went to a couple of other places, but kind of settled in Prince George's County.
Okay. Very familiar with Prince George's County because I went to Howard, and sometimes we had to do clinicals at Prince PG County Hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've rebuilt a new hospital in Prince George's County. So I haven't been in it yet, but it's a beautiful hospital.
Oh, really? You said rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was
like they built a new hospital.
Okay, because I was going to say, yeah, it was rough. It was rough, but I'm glad that they did that. Okay, so you pretty much was on that. So what was it like growing up with military parents or on a military base?
Well, my dad was in the military. My mom, she was just, civilian. She wasn't military. But what I remember most is that they would play what they called revelry every morning when they would wake up the military officers. The horn was playing. So I remember that. On the base at Fort Meade, they had a nice bowling alley because my dad liked to bowl, and just remember little things like that. The commissary, where everybody knows in the military, the commissary and the PFs, on base. But like nursery school, I don't remember much of that because I was in Germany. But I was on Fort Meade base just for a little bit.
Because I know my brother, I know he was in the Army. He was a dental assistant or dental tech. I know he first trained at Fort Hood. Then he came back. I believe he was Fort Reed, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then he went to Walter Reed in D.C. also.
Yep. My dad was in the Army too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I think my brother was in there for like maybe 4 years and he came out. So great. Okay. So, like you said, with your mom was a civilian, your dad was in the army. Did you have to travel a lot as a kid? Did you get that pleasure of traveling?
Just in the beginning, they separated like around when I was 6. So I traveled a lot in the beginning. I went to like, I don't know, a number of different elementary schools, but then once I got to 6th grade, I pretty much stayed in the same area of Prince County, so I didn't move as much.
Okay. Now, speaking up, where did you go to college?
I went to, it was called Towson State University when I went, but it's now Towson University. So I'm kind of probably dating myself by saying that. But anyway, I went to Towson University.
Yeah, so that's actually where I wanted to go to, but I wanted to go on to Howard University.
Well, Howard's a good too.
Yeah. So Towson was like a liberal arts school. So, I remember Towson as well. And I know my niece had attended there. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, let's get into it. So, this evening we are discussing mental health. And as a community, we need to bring awareness to mental health and make it more acceptable for those that are suffering from mental health, mental illnesses, and that it's okay to seek help, learn to cope, and get on to the road of recovery. So that's what we're talking about. And this is a much needed subject for us to talk about in the world. And I know in the past, people used to shy away from it, or was a taboo, especially when I was coming up. If things were going on, people didn't talk about it. Or if you went to therapy, you were shamed. So now it's becoming more acceptable to go to therapy and to talk to someone. Because I think all of us have some deep-rooted things in us. Because I think I'm socially awkward to me, but maybe it's just some deep-rooted things from my childhood that I maybe just need someone to talk about it. So I think it's very important now that we get it out. So, Nikki, can you share with us your experience with mental health, illness with us? Let the boys know what it is that you are experiencing and the diagnosis of mental health.
Well, the diagnosis is bipolar disorder or bipolar 1, which back in the day would also be known as manic depression. And, basically bipolar is going between being manic and then being depressed. So that's why you get bipolar, because it's two opposite ends that you could be on.
So when you say manic, what would that look like?
Yeah, like some of the symptoms of being manic could be intense emotions, loss of appetite, decreased need for sleep, fast talking, racing thoughts. It could be other things like reckless driving, increased spending, hypersexuality, being hypersexual. So those are like some of the symptoms for when you're manic. Depression would be a different thing. So depression could be increased appetite, change. It still could be change in sleeping patterns. Like maybe you can't get out of bed. You slow down, or you're restless, feeling sad, empty or helpless. And the opposite, you might be talking very slow instead of, when you're manic, talking very fast.
Okay. 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 So, how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 17.
Wow.
So it was my senior year in high school.
Wow. Okay. Now, did your parents notice some things that made you go?
I don't think there were any signs. I don't think I exhibited any signs. It wasn't, I don't think it was anything that as a child they would have been able to diagnose, because I don't think I really was exhibiting any of those real prominent symptoms.
Okay.
It really just kind of like came to a head when I was 17.
So what happened? So when you say came to a head, what connected that?
Well, I don't know if I could pinpoint one incident, but it was just life, a lot of different things happening. It was my senior year. You know how stressful that can be. Had broken up or had a relationship that did not go the way I would have wanted, and just a lot of things that were going on. But it was kind of like, culminated into that event when I was 17.
Okay.
Which, ultimately, like back then, I guess they would have just called it like a nervous breakdown.
Okay. So, because I know one of my family members, I know when they had a breakdown with Manic, they went to the doctor, and then the doctor ran some tests, did some things, and then that's when they were diagnosed and said, okay, you're bipolar 1. So that's what happened. It was because of chain of events.
Yeah, that's what it was, like a chain of events.
Then it was like, okay, it's not a behavioral issue, because if it's an imbalance, you can't say, oh, she's acting up because she was not going to school. I know my family member, was like, what am I going to do? Because she's not going to school. She became truant. And just the boys, every time she came home, it was boys in the house and things like that. So when they took her and they diagnosed her, it was with the bipolar. So that's what you just said, the manic days, the sex. She always wanted to spend money. So that's another part of it. Then sometimes I remember she had this grandiose attitude and things like that. That was part of it. So is that some of the traits that you noticed? I mean, the traits?
You can have grandiose thoughts, like, you're, like you're just bigger than who you really are. That certainly is can be part of it. That's definitely, I would say, something that would kind of exhibit itself with that.
Okay. Yeah, so I did know that. And then the thing is, when I went to Howard, I know we took psych. We had to take psych as one of the core courses. And I that you took psych. So I know that there were like different axes and things like that. And I remember when we were naming some of the symptoms, I was like, that's me. I was self-diagnosing myself, because when she was going over the PowerPoint, she was naming the symptoms, and it sounded like some of the things that I was going through. Or was that just a typical college student going through just the stress of college? So I remember taking psychology. And then going to Baltimore Hospital in DC. The VA hospital, and going on the site unit, and we had to work with different the VA vets, and they was going through a lot. And I know that some of the triggers were some of the post-traumatic stress syndrome. I know that's a different topic, but so that was just a deep subject with the psychology. The psychologists was that they invested more time, more resources to help people with any type, with the mental.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that, when you are diagnosed with something like bipolar, it really is a chemical imbalance. Yeah. And, just like you need medication if you have diabetes, it's the same thing with this, that you need medication to keep you more balanced and, just even keel.
Okay. So as a child, when you first was diagnosed, if I can ask, which medication were you prescribed?
Well, in the beginning, I was taking lithium, but lithium, because I was already kind of acne prone, but I think that the lithium just made it worse. So that's what I was taking first. And then eventually I ended up taking another medication when I was pregnant with my daughter, that it was something that I could take safely while I was pregnant with her. And that medication causes weight gain. So that's been like a struggle because, it's already hard enough, monitoring and keeping your weight under control, but then taking something that makes it a little bit more difficult. So that makes it more of a struggle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So are you still taking lithium now? Because I know, are you still taking it now? You're still taking it now, right?
Yeah, she froze.
Looks like she froze.
Yeah. So again, because I'm editing her book, I can speak to some of the questions. So whenever she freezes up, then I'll just chime in. The medication that she took while she was pregnant with her second child, I believe she still takes that today. So it has helped to sustain her in general. So yeah, I think she's trying to get back in now.
What I said you heard, but
I mean, and that's fine. It's technology, so
yeah.
Usually it's me.
So I don't know where what you heard and what you didn't hear. So just let me know.
So we were just talking about the medications that you're taking now, and Andrea kind of filled in because I'm assuming, since you and Andrea are working on your book, that a lot of the accounts that you've gone through, you have shared it with us. So I guess she can answer those questions. So because I know a lot of times.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that just the main thing, the medication I take now just causes, weight gain. So I hate that, but that's just one of the major side effects
of the medications. Because I know a lot of times when I have patients, and I know a lot of times the doctor, when the patient is on the medication, that's what they complain about is the weight gain. So the doctor always say you may want to get with a weight regimen program, work out, walk, do things.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Like just, working with nutritionists, trying to make sure I exercise, do things to offset it, because it is important to take the medication. And,
exactly.
So it's just have to find other ways to make it work.
Right. And then,
and I'll say,
because of
if I can interject.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that, with Nikki, I think that she has maintained, her weight very well, because if you see her, she doesn't look like anyone who's overweight. Now, in her mind, she probably thinks that, she should be smaller or whatever, but from my standpoint, she's not overweight at all.
Well, thank you.
I'm the one who's overweight.
Well, thank you.
She looks great.
Oh, stop.
Yes. Yeah, that's part of my heritage. So I got hips. Maybe that's an asset, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I know that a lot of women struggle with, as far as with the weight. I know sometimes their electrolytes are off, especially when they come in the hospital. So sometimes the doctors are playing with that because I know lithium has an uptake of your sodium a lot.
Well, the lithium, the main thing for me was just the acne, but the medication I'm taking now, the weight gain you have to be careful with because you don't want to then have other problems like diabetes. Like if your weight gets too, and plus, my grandmother had diabetes. So that's definitely, something that you have to monitor. But normally your doctor is taking, blood levels to make sure that everything is okay.
Yes, I know. Yeah. I know when they come in and they may come into the hospital for one thing, but then you always, from a holistic view, you have to drink everything. So I know a lot of times, sometimes when patients come in and say if they have high blood pressure, the blood pressure's high, and the first thing is like, okay, I need to restart my medication because if I don't have my medication, oh my goodness, I'm in trouble. But then I think I remembered that when you take medications like that, even when you start taking it, it has to be in your system for like 14 days. Is that correct? For you to have therapeutic levels for it to work. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I'm not an expert, so I don't know the exact time that you need, but I know you got to allow some time for it to get into your system.
Right. Okay.
So
now, as an adult, so you talked about your childhood, you talked about the college, you talked about having children. Now, because I had experience with people that was diagnosed with bipolar working. Now, I can hear that you're a marketing consultant. Has having bipolar 1, has that ever affected your work?
No, I don't think it's really affected my work. I mean, I've been blessed to have, a great support system, and, my husband, my mother. And that's really half the battle is the people that are around you that, that help you and always looking out for you. If they see anything or any warning signs, they're quick to, check you on it. And I would just say, like, one of the things that, analogy I like that my pastor used is that, when you're driving and you have your mirrors on the side that you can look in, but sometimes there could be a car in your blind spot and you don't know that the car is there. So it's kind of like your family is able to help you because they can maybe see the blind spot that you can't see. So, that's kind of how I like the way he put it. And so that's kind of how I describe it is that, having your family and friends who know you and are close to you, be able to recognize or help you recognize if sometimes, something is a little happening or something a little out of character and to quickly get you back on track.
The triggers, right? The triggers, is that correct?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're taking your medication, then, you should be good. But I know a lot of people sometimes, especially initially, they don't want to take the medication just because of maybe a number of reasons, but the stigma of even having to take it, will cause people sometimes to think that they don't need it. But again, it's just the same as if you had diabetes. You have to do what you have to do for diabetes. And it goes for the same thing if you have a chemical imbalance or a mental disorder, that you do really have to take the medication.
Right. So now, so I know that I work with several people that have bipolar 1, and I know that they had incidents, episodes, of things that they have done. And the fact that they have that diagnosis, that an employer cannot just get rid of that person because of that diagnosis. So that is true. Is that correct?
I don't really know like the legalities of it, and I haven't really had to deal with that type of thing. But I would just say that I think it, again, it's just important to kind of do the things that you need to do just to, have, good mental health and make sure that you're, taking care of yourself, taking your medication if you've been diagnosed with medication to take, and, listening to your family and friends.
Yes.
If they feel like something is getting out of line. And I think those are the things that are important to kind of keep so you don't ever get to that point.
Yeah, because it is something, and I think talking about, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, no. I was gonna say, one thing I can say where Nikki is concerned is that she definitely had good support systems, especially her mom, while she was going through, different episodes. She did a great job of, speaking to that in the book. So I just wanted to chime in and to add to that. I'm also, I didn't want to take over anything, but I'm just thinking about, the book process, the writing process for her, and just wondering, what that process was like, Nikki, you writing the book, if you found it. I know some of my other clients, they would say that they found writing the book was therapeutic to them. And so, just wondering your take on that, if you found that to be the same, if you found that you needed to do some introspection, had to deal with different emotions, that type of thing.
I think it was very therapeutic because in writing it, I realized there were some things that maybe had happened in my life that I may have suppressed some feelings or emotions. And so I think it was really good just to kind of get it out on paper and really kind of deal with some of the things maybe that I just maybe might have swept under the rug or something, just things that I might have, or things I didn't even know I swept them under the rug until I put it on paper. And then I was like, oh, well, I didn't even know that was something I was, dealing with or had to deal with. So, but yeah, it's been very therapeutic and, like you said, very introspective too.
Now, are you able to maybe give us some highlights on that? I'm just not to give away the book, but I know the book will be.
I was gonna say we gotta say something for the book. Let me see.
No, I'm nosy.
Well, really, like, for instance, with maybe like coming to terms with some things that, that happened that maybe I thought that I had maybe come to terms with, but maybe in actually writing it out and seeing it on paper, and then having Andrea ask me as an editor questions that then caused me to have to think even more about it. I think, definitely, did happen in the process of writing.
Writing the book. Okay. Yeah, so it seems like that was therapeutic. But
yeah, I'm the reason why what I find is that with a lot of my clients, they do find it to be therapeutic, but it sometimes causes a lot of them to do some serious introspection and really think about issues, like Nikki said, that were suppressed for many years from childhood that they now have to address as a grown adult. So I think that, for some who may have, mental health or might have gone through domestic abuse or even, substance abuse, that, in writing the book, then there's like some level of healing that comes from that. And sometimes folks tend to want to just separate themselves from the book for a while and just, I can't deal with it anymore. It's a little traumatic for me. So it definitely has been therapeutic for a lot of my clients as well. Just going through that entire process.
Okay. And how has it been for you, Andrea, for you to stand witness and read this? I mean, what was the experience for you?
With me writing my book?
No,
is that what you're asking?
Reading the material. No, with you reading the material from your dealing with this.
Oh, well, for me, I'm thinking about the audience, and thinking about what Nikki's goal is in writing the book. And so sometimes it may require one to go deeper in what they are sharing. So sometimes it's not easy sharing some.
She's good at that, making you go deeper.
Right. And for me, I'm like, if this book is going to be effective, then she's really
good at like pulling it, trying to pull stuff.
Yeah, I so pull it out.
Deep. Yeah, and yeah, she does pull it out. And something she just said about the reason for writing the book, because I know that's like one of the questions you were going to ask me, but mainly because you hear about a lot of different celebrities like Kanye West, Mariah Carey, Patty Duke, Carrie Fisher, people who have had bipolar. And I know some people like Patty Duke, she wrote books about it, but some people aren't really giving you the real ins and outs of what it's like from an ordinary person's point of view. And that's what, I wanted to do, is just to let people know that, you can, being diagnosed with it doesn't have to mean that you can't live a successful life and be successful in your life, So that was the main reason, is just to, even though you may have experienced some things in your life, dealing with it, but you can still overcome it and still have just as good as a life as someone who doesn't have that diagnosis.
Okay.
And she's a good example of that. She's a good example of someone who has bipolar 1. But if she didn't tell you that she had it, you wouldn't have known. I've known Nikki now for quite a few years, and I didn't know until she shared it with me. So the fact that she's a great mom, grandmother, wife, daughter, active in different things, at our church or what have you, she's a great example that you can overcome the stigmas of, mental health or mental illness or whatever. So I salute her for that and being courageous enough in writing and telling her story in her book.
Yeah. And some people think, yeah, I think that's the first step is talking about it, acknowledging it. Because a lot of times I've found, with people, they may have it, but they don't recognize it. They don't get it treated. They don't work with it. And then it's always an excuse of why.
Well, I of course I didn't embrace this at first when I was diagnosed with this, but I guess I've learned over time to embrace it, and because of what we're dealing with in the pandemic and how the pandemic has kind of exacerbated mental health, I felt it was important to kind of get out there and tell people about, how, if you're struggling, it's okay. Like NAMI had this campaign, it's okay if you're not okay.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people, are pretending they're okay when they're not really okay.
Right.
And, if you're not okay, that is okay. And you can get help that you need, and you shouldn't feel a certain type of way because you need to get additional help.
Yeah, just talking about it, because I know when I'm going through things, especially during the pandemic, going through that, seeing what we saw elsewhere, that was very stressful. And sometimes we needed to talk to someone just to get it out. That was very stressful.
Yeah.
That could have been a trigger for someone, and especially being isolated, being quarantined, having to be stuck in the house, not being able to go out, not being able to see loved ones, especially if loved ones were in the hospital. So that was a stressor within itself. So, and then it all comes to terms.
Yeah.
Just bipolar is just one thing for one of them. But just imagine all types of mental illness that's out there that people.
I mean, well, pretty much everyone will probably not something is like that, but everybody knows someone or has dealt with it themselves of some type of, mental health issue or crisis at one point in time in their life. So if it's not you, you probably know someone. So it's really basically, and like Andrea had said, when I was writing and she was digging and go deeper as, trying to educate people about mental health. Now I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who has experienced it. And so I'm just kind of sharing my experience. I'm not, not an expert or psychologist, psychiatrist, anything like that, but just kind of talking from, my own experience.
Listen, that whole pandemic, was hard on the majority of us. And as you speak to the mental health, me myself, I had some issues that I had to do with myself. Like there were days when I woke up and sat on the edge of my bed and was crying and didn't even know why I was crying, and, being isolated, you feel like you're in it by yourself. You're feeling all kinds of anxiety with everything that's going on. Are you going to catch this virus? Folks are out of work. Just the state of the world was scary. But I think with me, what happened was I realized that as I started to speak to some of my friends, that we were all feeling the same thing. So then it made it easier to
deal with the fact that it's okay that I'm feeling a little nervous right now. It's okay that I'm feeling this anxiety because they're feeling some of the same things too. So I think that it is important that we acknowledge the fact that, it's not, there's nothing wrong with the fact that you feel anxious one day or you feel like you're having a panic attack or anything like that. It's okay. And then the best thing to do is to talk it out with someone, whether it's a friend, best friend, mother, a therapist. Get the help that you need. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know, like I said, with me, and I can say with me, I know sometimes I just had periods where I just had to talk, just to get it out. Talk to anyone that would listen, just to get it out. When I realized that I need to talk to someone that specializes in it. Because talking to your brother, your mother, my mom is deceased, but in my case, talking to my daughter, talking to my son or some of my associates, things like that they were going through their own issues. Right. So imagine me with my problems, wanting to talk, and they having their problems. I needed to go to someone, to a therapist. Then at that time, a lot of people were having a hard time getting a therapist during the pandemic. So it was hard.
Well, the great thing about what the pandemic has done is it's made getting a therapist more accessible as far as being able to do it telehealth instead of having to be in person. And so in that sense, it has made it a lot easier for people to get help if they don't have to do in person. And, with these gas prices, they don't have to drive to wherever they're driving to see the person. They can just do a Zoom or whatever. So that's one bright spot out of the pandemic is that, it's caused people to be able to maybe easier get what they need.
Yeah, the gas prices can be stressful for itself.
Right?
Gas prices. That's another topic right there. Mm-hmm. That's something that'll be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think it's close to $7 now, so that's a problem. Especially the gas prices are going up, food is going up,
everything.
And again, like you said, people are not going back to work. The economy is not meeting the inflation. As far as with the price going up, so people are going through that. So it's just a struggle within itself. And but like I said, it's a topic that must be talked. And the reason why I say that is because on the news, you hear someone like, what was her name? Ashley Judd, that committed suicide. What was her name? Oh, her mother.
Naomi Judd. It was Naomi Judd. Ashley was the daughter.
I'm sorry about that. I do apologize. Well, her mother killed herself. So it's like, and then just a lot of these celebrities who committed suicide, and it's like you find out later that it was some mental illnesses that they were going through. Yeah. So that weren't addressed, and I just think that yes, people are talking about the heart, hypertension, heart attacks are one of the number one killers, and things like that. But now it's like mental illnesses starting to creep up with that because you gotta treat the mind. Kids or teenagers going to school with what is it called, an ARK rifle, stuff that we don't supposed to have, and shooting up a school. Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah.
That's mental. So it's never addressed. for someone to do that. Not that it's an excuse, but for someone to go into a school and do that, it's something going on. You got some type of mental illness. Something has to be. So that's why that more resources need to be directed, more funding need to go into mental health, especially here in California, because we have a lot of homeless. And a lot of times that's mental, people that have mental illness with that, and they're not treated because the resources are not there.
Yeah, I think we have to teach people how to be well balanced. I know I always, I had, a great father that helped me to be okay.
I can't hear you, Nikki. Okay, so I'll chime in until she chimes back in. So she had a father, her stepfather stepped in, and basically exposed her to different activities in life that contributed to her being more balanced. So whether it was exposing her to like hiking or skiing or what do you call it when you're on the boat and you're skiing on the boat to the waters or whatever. So she was
water skiing. No, I was saying, I had a very well-rounded life as far as being able to do different things. Like Andrew was saying, water skiing, snow skiing, just different things like that. But I think that we really need to teach people how to be well balanced. Yeah. In the morning, maybe get up and read your Bible and just certain things that you do before you start your day to get your mind right before you tackle the day, and just different things to keep you, if you need to go and exercise, if that, helps you, and just doing different things like that, and how to stay, centered.
Now, does your day have to be structured? Like in order for you to have a good day, do you have to have a to-do list? And if something pops up out of that order, that could, because I know some people like that, like, this is what I have to do.
Well, it depends on what kind of work you do, but, sometimes you might have to be a little bit spontaneous because something may come up that you didn't know was going to come up. And so I guess just kind of being prepared for like whatever may come your way, because you might not know how your day is going to go. We can try to structure our day, but there's always something that can throw a monkey wrench in it. So you just never know how it's going to be. Mm-hmm. So you just kind of have to be that's why if you start your day off the right way, hopefully no matter what comes your way, you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know some people that I work with, and I know that when they come in, they have to have a system. Like they have to have the area that they're working in. They have to have this, in order for them to function. And if someone comes and sit at that desk that they prepare themselves, all heck is going to break loose. Because and it's like, whoa, here you go. Or it just has to be a systematic approach. And if anything out of that order, it's like they go off and you're like, okay, calm down. So I know that,
I'm like I'm I try to be a perfectionist, but I mean, no one is perfect, and it's not always gonna go the way, things are going to happen, and you just have to learn how to, not let that
course correct.
Destroy your peace.
Yeah. Because I know me, like I know I have issues. Like, in order for me to cook, I have to have, it can't be a dish in the sink, or everything has to be in order. Or in order for me to take a shower, like, the towel has to be there, the toothbrush, the mat, I'll find myself making sure if I'm going somewhere, I gotta go make sure the bed was made.
That sounds like a little bit obsessive compulsive.
OCD. That's right.
Right. In order for me to work on something, because I'm working on a project now, this is hilarious. So in order for me to do that, I have to have my computer, I gotta have my red pen, black pen, I gotta have a book, I gotta have this, I gotta have my drink, I gotta have a snack. So I spend like 15-20 minutes just getting organized, instead of sitting down and just getting into what I need to do. So that's
right.
An issue. So that is something. I'm not going to say I have OCD, but that is something that I have. So we all experience something that another person can look at us and say, you're special.
Yeah.
You're special.
Yeah.
So, well, Nikki, because I know we've been talking a lot, and I know that you're busy and everything, and I really want to thank you for sharing the story. Now, I know for the book, we can't disclose the name of the title of the book right now, but when can we expect it to be out? Because I'm looking forward to reading this book. I'm an avid book reader.
It's on me.
I'm going to defer to my editor.
Yeah, it's on me right now. So I'm basically we're going through and making revisions right now. At the end of the day, when Nikki and I talk, it's always about producing a quality product. And so right now, we have probably a couple more chapters to fine tune, and then we'll be ready. So I'm not going to put a date on it. I say when the book is ready, that's when it will be ready. I've learned from my book, writing my book, I had a date set. I'm going to have it ready January of next year. January next year came and left, and I was still working on it. So we're still making revisions to the book, and it's going to get to it's going to get to the point where after we make these final revisions, then she, of course, will then have to go back and put her stamp of approval to say, yes, I love how the entire book flows, and then we can move forward in the process. But I don't want us to rush and put out a book that's not up to par, because then it doesn't make me or her look good. We're not going to have that.
Right. Because you do with your company. Yeah, okay, because Proof Inc., because your company, Proof Inc., has been through the whole process with the book, correct?
Right. Proofreading Inc. Proofreading Inc.
Proofreading.
Yeah. So we're working on the book, and basically, when it's done, which is, it's going to be done before the year is out, but right now we're just putting in the final touches to it. And Nikki doesn't know this, but I'm kind of at a disadvantage because my left shoulder is dealing with some rotator cuff issue. So I'm really working with one hand at the moment trying to get through her book, but it's going to get done.
Oh, no.
No, I'm in pain, but I'm going to get through it.
Yeah, but we need to get.
Thank you, Andrea. I didn't know that.
We need to get her together because we need to get you together because in this process, you as the editor is the most important piece in this. As the editor,
yeah. But thank God I have one good arm. But it's going to get done.
We're going to get it done. So, yeah. I'm excited for her, too.
I'm excited, too. So make sure I get a book. I want a signed copy when it first gets off the press.
Yeah.
So, because I'm an avid.
Okay.
So I want that.
I just want to also add that, this is just a wonderful platform. A lot of clients, and Nikki is probably the first client that I have where we are doing things differently. In the writing process, you have to start before your book is published. You really want to start putting the buzz out. You really want to start marketing and letting folks know that you have a book that's coming out, just to wet their palates a little bit. And the fact that, her book is on mental health, this is a hot topic right now. And it's so needed with everything that's going on in the world. So I just think this is a great platform for her to do like a preliminary advertising of her book. So as we get closer to the end, of course, we're going to pick up more in terms of marketing it more. But what I'm saying to you then is thank you for this platform that allows her to share her story.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
The pleasure's all mine.
Both of you.
I'm so excited that I had, because I'm reading Andrea's book right now. So, because my thought was, oh my God, I got to hurry up and read Andrea's book. But then I had at least a couple of weeks before reading your book. Because, like I said, I'm an avid book reader. So I have to,
Okay.
So I can pick up another book. So I love supporting especially women authors. I'm just excited about it. So I look forward to you coming back and talking about the book. So, Nikki, what are your handles so that we can follow and keep up?
Okay.
What are your handles?
So I'm going to be honest. I haven't really been into social media. But I did set up an Instagram. So it is Justified Advertising Marketing is the handle. And that is the beginning. And I'll hopefully get on more social media as we go. I know I'll be forced to, but that's the one thing that I have that they can use.
Say it again so we can hear it. Say it again. What is your handle?
So it's on Instagram. It's Justified Advertising Marketing.
Okay. I like it. I like the title. And Nikki, it's like, don't even be apologetic about it. I'm going to be unapologetic because I am just getting into social media. And you have to start it somewhere. Like this, what we're doing. I don't have a clue of what I'm doing, but it's getting started. And nice that you're talented and willing to learn it to perfect it. So it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to learn how.
Well, thank you.
I'm just starting to learn how to post, do lives on Instagram, and anybody that knows me know that I'm very talented. So it's okay. But
it's okay.
Yeah, well, anybody that knows me knows I'm talented too. I had to have my daughter help me set it up. So I'm like, okay, I got to get this done.
Yeah. My grandson helps me take pictures. Yeah, my grandson, 7, showed me how to delete pictures and do things with my phone. He's 7, and he has.
Well, my grandson is not quite as old as your grandchild, but I'm sure probably he will be showing me how to do stuff very soon.
That's true.
And then it's some shameful stuff because he has an iPhone. I have an Android. So. So
yeah, they come on knowing that stuff.
Andrea.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I want to thank you. I said I want to thank you all for being here. I know that your time is very precious. I don't know, Andrea, want to go back to editing the book, and I know you're going to go and I'm going to go and put some stuff away and things like that. So is there anything that we missed that you may want to add before we wrap up for tonight?
Nikki, do you have anything else?
I just want to, thank you for, the opportunity and, just basically people, if you are out there and you're dealing with something or, it doesn't have to be anything like what I'm dealing with, bipolar, but if any type of mental issue that, you should reach out and get help and not feel ashamed because you need to get help.
And I just got a message from one of my mentors, because I have two mentors, Arthur and Dr. Cal, and she said that this topic is very interesting, so I know she's listening. And that is an honor for Dr. Anita Cal to say that this is a very interesting topic. It is. So thank you, Dr. Cal. And then to help keep me going in my journey, I have mentors. So I have a female and I have a male. So I have the male, team, a male and female, Arthur and Dr. Cal. So they are very important for me in my journey to help me. So when I'm those are the ones I talk.
Mentors are good. Yeah, I've had a mentor helping me write this book and a coach and, got my therapist and got, it's like I got all kinds of, kinds of resources, but you need that. And I got you, but you're on the call, so everybody knows about you.
And let me tell you, I sent Andrea a text message. Oh, Renee, you forgot to comment. You should put the semicolon here. I was like, it's a text. Coach, it's a text. Like Allen Iverson did. It's practice. It's just practice. But it's like now when I send her text message or anything, I make sure it's correct. And that makes me better.
I can't help it.
So again, yeah, I know. And I won't hold it against you. So I want to thank everyone. And now next week, I'm excited because next week when we come back, we're doing leading gentlemen. So I'm excited about that. So we're going to have my mentor, who is Arthur Boner. So I got to brag a little bit about Arthur. So he's an executive producer, showrunner, writer, which you will appreciate. And Arthur has produced for every major studio in Hollywood.
Wow.
Sony, Universal, Fox, Lionsgate, and CBS. So he's working on quite a few projects this year. He's even mentoring me in writing doing my project. So I'm honored about that. So, come in next week, leading gentlemen. But actually, it's leading ladies recognizing our leading gentlemen. So that'll be tomorrow, next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. And what is that? 7 Eastern time. So I'm excited about that. So if you ladies are free, join in to hear and get some tips and tricks from Arthur. So
that's awesome.
Okay, we'll have to do that.
Yeah. I'll definitely chime in. All right. Well, unfortunately, my computer battery is running a little bit low. So, but I do want to add one more thing before signing off really quickly. The last time we met, I had mentioned that we had a scholarship foundation, a program for HBCU through the Editorial Freelancers Association that I'm a member of. We were able to get 59 applicants for the scholarship that we're offering for students who are looking to become writers, authors, anything in publishing, basically, and also like graphic designers. There's a whole slew of career paths, anything dealing with writing, editing, journalism, that type of thing. So we have 59 applicants to review, where we will choose one undergrad and one graduate student. And so we are excited about that. I'm going to be a part of that process of reviewing all 59. The UNCF will then be responsible for selecting the winners. So
exciting news. I'm happy about that. So that's my
We're gonna bring them back here so I can. Yes, absolutely. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Make me want to go back to school for journalists or graphic designer. Social media, is that part of it? Pay me to go back to learn that.
Yeah. All of us can stand.
And I just have to go to HBCU. Yeah. So I might sign up. What? I have a problem with that. So maybe Howard will have me back, or maybe I'll go somewhere in Alabama or whatever. So, but I'm excited about that. So when would I have to apply for next year?
We will probably have it in. No, it'll probably be like in May next year where we'll start the application process again. You heard me?
Okay. And I guess because I know you.
That's great.
I guess because I know you, I'll get moved up to the top if I go back to school.
Well, no, it's not up to me. It's not up to me. The UNCF is the one that's responsible for the final decision. Now, I may go through and say, here, I think these are great candidates, but ultimately they're the ones who are going to choose the candidate, the recipient.
Okay. So who I gotta take to dinner?
Okay.
Well, thank you, everyone. So I look forward to seeing everyone next week. And then also, we have our podcast that releases on Monday. So it's with our vegan, Paige Parson, that is talking about vegan. So, we have plenty of content to dive into and learn something different. So please get into that. Paige Parson wrote. So she's a vegan activist. So check that out. It drops Monday.
Okay. And we will be back.
Great.
We will be back for Nikki's book when it drops. So looking forward to that.
Me too. All right. Thank you, guys.
Good night, everyone.